Hey y'all, welcome or welcome back to my channel. If you're new, you're gonna love it here, and if you're returning, what's up? I know that I said I was giving the side parts a break, but I just had to do this Peekaboo blind patch look. It's the layers, the swoop bang, the pop of color. It just do it for me. So if you would like to see the steps that I did to achieve this look, just keep on watching. Let's get started. So I'm going to take this bonnet off. I always start off by sectioning out my leave out. As you can see, that's the braid going in the front direction. And as far as the rest of my hair, that gets braided back. Although this is a quick weave, I try not to make my braids too big and bulky. The flatter the foundation, the better the quick weave will turn out. I will be using one black wig cap that I got from the beauty supply. So here I am putting it on. Now that my cap is on, I'm going to go in with the Got To Be freeze spray. Before spraying anything, I like to put my finger on top of my leave out, or maybe even use some makeup to outline the leave out. My goal here is to only spray the braids that are going straight back. When doing this, I like to work in sections. So as you can see, here I am spraying down the first section, then going in with my blow dryer to dry the spray down. Of course, this is not the only way to do a mold down for a quick weave. You can also use the liquid cap either on top of your wig cap or directly on your braid down. But I personally use the Got To Be method. Like I mentioned before, I like to work in sections. So here I am spraying the back section, then going in with my blow dryer. Here I am spraying down that last section, making sure not to spray my leave out. I would like to mention when doing this, you want to make sure that you spray at least 2 or 3 layers so that your cap is nice and secure. You will know when your cap is ready when it looks and feels dry, hard, and crunchy. If your cap is not super duper stiff, you want to go in with more hairspray and dry the hairspray down until it is. When cutting the cap, I like to put my thumb underneath to separate and make space to avoid cutting my hair. So I'm basically just cutting off the cap that isn't sprayed down. I had to switch over to my kitchen scissors. Y'all, don't be like me. Just get some nice, good, sharp scissors. But here I am just being a little bit more precise, just cutting off the edges. So here I am cutting the excess cap on the other side. As you can see, I'm avoiding my leave out, pushing it away. Oh, and another thing is probably hard to tell, but I do not spray down my baby hairs. Even though you won't see those baby hairs or edges, I do not like to mold those down. And this is the outcome after cutting my cap. I will be using pack hair from the beauty supply for this hairstyle. This is 3 packs of the Yaki Empire, 2 packs in the color 2, and 1 613, with 14, 16, 18 being the lengths. I'm going to start off with the natural color. I will be measuring the track out. Then I'm going to cut the track. I will be using this hair glue that I got from the beauty supply store. I will be adding the glue onto the track and then laying the track down. The key is to lay the tracks in more of a U shape going up instead of straight across. Moving on, I'm immediately adding the 613 color directly on the side of my head where my part will be. I'm going to measure this 613 track halfway through my head, meaning that it will stop at a certain point in the back of my head. Here I am cutting the track, of course adding glue to the track, and then I'm going to lay the track down. Yeah, I got to make sure y'all keep up with me so that this makes sense. As you can see, the 613 track stops at a certain point. It will not go all the way around my head because it's just a patch, meaning I only want it in one spot. So I'm going to use the natural color track, lay that down right next to the 613 track, wrap it around my head. I am measuring the track out like normal, and I am basically completing the row. So I cut the track, I add glue to the track, and then I lay the track down. I'm trying to explain this the best way I can. It's basically like doing a regular quick weave, applying the track row by row, one track after the next until you are done. But the only difference is you have to use two pieces to create a row. So here I am once again, measuring out that 613 track, positioning the track going up, because like I mentioned before, you want to do the U shape, but I will be measuring out this 613 track where I measured the last 613 track. I'm then going to cut the track, add glue to the track, and then lay the track down. Once again, I'm going to place the natural color track and connect that next to the 613 and wrap that around to complete that row. This is very hard for me to explain because I have never done this before. I hope that if you're not understanding me verbally, you can visually see what I'm doing to understand, or vice versa. But I'm literally going to continue the exact same process. I'm going to line up every 613 track only on that one side. I'm then going to cut the track, add glue to the track, and then I'm going to lay the track down. To finish the row, I'm going to use a natural color track, put it next to the 613 track. I'm going to measure out how long of a piece I need, cut it, add glue to it, and then I'm going to lay the track down. Do you see how all of the 613 hair is lined up and all of the natural color hair is lined up? My goal is for that blonde to be very neat and all the same length, not blending in with the natural color hair, because I want the patch to really pop. After laying down a few tracks, I like to go in with my blow dryer just to dry that glue down and make sure that everything is nice and secure. Now that it's time to start laying these tracks down more towards the front of my head, if you don't want the hair to fall in your face, you're going to apply the track from the front to the back, like so. If you want the hair to fall in your face to give that dramatic a bang look, you're going to apply the track going around your head, like so. Like when you're measuring the track out, the hair should literally be falling directly in your face. Continuing the exact same process from before, I'm going to measure out the 613 track. I'm then going to cut the track, add glue to the track, and lay the track down. You want to make sure that the 613 track is lined up with the previous 613 tracks. Completing that row with the natural color hair, I'm going to take that track and bring it around my head because like I mentioned before, I want the hair to fall on my face. I'm then going to cut the track, add glue to the track. I'm going to lay the track down. I continued the exact same process until the left side of my head was complete. With that being said, there was no need to add any more blind tracks. Here I am measuring out the natural color tracks in that U shape. I'm going to cut the track, add glue to the track, and lay the track down. Of course, as you get closer to the top, the U will get smaller. But you want to lay the tracks down in that U shape until you literally can't no more. So far, this is what it's looking like. Like I mentioned before, I'm going to finish this off using the natural color tracks. Now that it is complete, this is what it's giving. I would like to mention that I eventually went in with a natural color track on top of the blonde section, just to help with more of a seamless look, blending in with my leave out. For this look, it required a lot of layers, so if that's what you decide to do, I would recommend you use pack hair or any type of hair you don't mind cutting up. As you can see, I am using my razor comb to cut this hair in a diagonal direction. I really took my time when doing this because I'm not used to doing heavy layers like this. And it's kind of scary cutting off so much hair. For beginners like myself, I would recommend using a razor comb. You want to make sure as you're layering the hair that the top is as short as you would like for it to be, and it should be gradually getting longer as you go down. Here I am layering the other side. I'm just basically chopping the hair off in a diagonal direction, cutting off a little bit at a time. Just making sure I don't cut too much, making any drastic mistakes. At this moment, I was feeling a bit more confident, so I went in with my scissors to create some layers. Now that I have completed both sides, everything is nice and layered. Moving on, here I am taking my leave out braid down. I will be going in with this Chi heat protectant spray. And of course, I'm going to spray that onto my leave out before applying any heat. When straightening my hair, I like to work in sections. So of course, I like to start off with my skinny flat iron to get those roots nice and straight. Once I've made it to the longer pieces, I also like to go in with my regular size flat iron. And I continue this process by pouring out my hair, alternating between the skinny flat iron and the regular size flat iron, just simply getting my leave out straight. Once the entire section of my leave out has been straightened, I like to go in with my wax stick and use that to help lay down my leave out. Not too much, but just enough to keep all the hairs in place. Now, I am not the best when it comes to curling, but this is what I did. Of course, I'm working in sections. I get a piece of the hair. I go in with a little bit of hairspray and I use my curling iron to curl the hair going up. So as you can see, I am wrapping the hair around the iron, curling it going up. After curling that piece, I'm gonna hold it and then pin it up. To help your curls last, you want to make sure that you keep it pinned up or balled up in your hand until it cools down. Moving on to the next piece, after spraying it down, I'm going to wrap it around the curling iron, going in an upward motion. As you can see, I am rolling the hair up. Now that that piece has been curled, I'm going to pin it up. I'm going to continue this exact same curling process throughout my entire head. Now that I have made it to the very last piece, after spraying that piece down, I will be curling my hair going back. My reasoning for curling this piece a little differently is because it is the bang piece. So as you can see, I am curling this piece at the top of my head going back. After letting my curls cool down and taking the pins out, this is what it is giving. I'm using a comb to comb everything out. To help with my flyaways, I went back in with my wax stick, specifically on my leave out. Now let's move on to my favorite part, the baby hairs. So here I am using my edge brush to pull out the hair that I want swooped. I'm going to start off with the first piece and use my skinny flat iron to curl the hair going up. While I let that cool down, I'm going to curl the next piece. And before adding any product, I like to go in with the edge brush to kind of shape my baby hairs. As you can see, I'm trying to figure out the placement. I do this because once the product is added, it's hard to move the hair around, especially if you're using edge control. So here I am swooping the top piece, figuring out how I want it to look before adding the Style Edge Booster Edge Control. I will only be adding just a little bit of this to my baby hairs just so they can lay down. And then I'm also going to go in with some Got To Be spray and use a bit of that as well. So not too much edge control and not too much hairspray. I don't want my edges to be too gelled down or too fluffy. I want them to be laid down, but also giving a soft look. I will be doing an in-depth baby hair tutorial sometime soon, so be on the lookout for that. Then I'm also going to go in with a little bit of edge control at the top of my head. Also adding a little bit of hairspray to seal the deal. And that was it for this hairstyle. This hairstyle turned out so cute. Before I show you all the final look one last time, I would like to thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'm going to see y'all in my next video. Bye, y'all.